Welcome back, everybody. This is Cockriser, the show. I'm Jamie Jones,
I'm Monique Jones.
and this is show number 20 of season one. We took a little holiday hiatus, a little reprieve last week, and we're back for our last two shows of the year this week and next week. And as we usually do, it's whatever what the heck we've been thinking about and been talking about. And my goodness, there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. And there's a lot of stuff that you might not have thought about was good to talk about. And that's what we'll do. Um, I'll start out with watch Dave Chappelle last night. His new show, very, very good. Classic Dave Chappelle. Very ambitious. Says some interesting things about Charlie Kirk. Said some interesting things about his friend Bill Maher as far as how they think about him being over in Saudi. And just was classic, funny Dave Chappelle. Highly recommend seeing it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good show.
But it was interesting because, of course, not that he made a comparison to himself as Charlie Kirk, but he was like, the dude gets assassinated. What about everybody else that speaks freely? But then he was like, yeah, let's stop short of the comparisons to Martin Luther King.
I was kidding. Mhm.
Let's stop short there and not go down that road because, well, at least we know now, we've always known that Martin Luther King wasn't preaching any hate speech, even though
Abs-
white people back in the day, down the Dixiecrats, thought he was because it was against their way of life. I don't know I think that's basically the only probably line that you could even think about drawing if it was based on their perspective. But yes, we know now that there was no hate being preached by Martin Luther King like there was with Charlie Kirk. So interesting, but spot on. And then the hypocrisy, however you want to say it, of people saying that, he's taking Saudi money. And I'm like, well, money is money. And if people want to be entertained and free speech, and his funny thing was it's easier to talk about what he talks about over there than it is to talk
He
about over
said
here,
that.
which is
He said
wild if you think about the human rights record that Saudi has. But then again, if you can always go back on our human rights record too and go, well, you can't throw rocks in a glass house.
it.
So
Right.
that is very true. One of the unexpected things that I learned today, well, not learned today, but last week, there are supposedly 7 unexpected signs your body tells you if you're with the wrong person. 7. 7. I read these and I was like, are you with the wrong person? And I was like, because I don't know. So, number one,
You asked me that question after you
I,
read them
I,
all.
I know I did. As I'm asking you
And I
again.
said, well, do you see
Your,
these signs?
your number one, your stomach is upset.
Never.
Well, because your stomach is your second brain, as they say. So your stomach is upset. You keep zoning out.
Always.
Well, see, there you go. You keep zoning out.
But I don't think it has anything to do with you.
Okay. Uh, you can't sleep.
Because my partner snores and he talks in his sleep.
Oh, let's
That's
not.
why.
I don't know what I do when I'm asleep because
I
I'm asleep.
have
So
I have tapeworm.
and you're a stalker because you be videotaping me when I
Yeah.
sleep, which is this kind of stalkish and eerie. But
Yeah.
you snore too, and you rub your
But
feet
I'm not
together.
allowed to snore because I'm woke up to tell me to stop
Yo, this
snoring. I
this
allow
is
you to
amazing.
enjoy that
Other people
depth
are
of your
probably
sleep.
like
I
this.
I allow
You
you.
know what? I
I
know a
sacrifice. It's
lot
a
of
big
couples are
difference.
like this. You
It's a big
don't think
difference.
that you wake me up all the time, and you don't think that you move. It's like fighting rock'em sock'em robots when you sleep. You move so much. Okay. All right. So you can't sleep. You can't sleep. You
I can
feel
sleep.
that's another thing. That's number 3. You can't sleep. Number 4 is you feel constantly exhausted. I must be with the right person because I don't zone out. My stomach doesn't get upset. I can sleep and I'm not constantly exhausted. So I guess I'm with the right person. But there
I
are also subtle signs of stress that can easily go unnoticed. So number 5 is you feel disconnected from the world around you. You feel disconnected from the world around you. Rather than appreciating a stunning view or enjoying an amazing concert, someone might find themselves ignoring the beauty of these situations. I call that probably depressed. But we're talking about the 7 signs. The question is it one of these or is it all 7? Number 6 is your breathing changes. Shallow breathing puts the body in a constant state of stressful. That we know is not your problem. We know that that is not your problem because you take and are the loudest breather I've ever heard in my entire life. And
Let me give
anybody
you one
out
right
there
now.
who lives with a sire, I call them a sire because all day long, all you hear is, and you're like, oh, something wrong, something wrong. It's like, when people usually do that, they're frustrated or something happened or they're about to break down. But
No.
after about almost 10 years, I believe I'm used to hearing these hyperbola
Well,
sighs that
you
just
said that
make
you
you go,
never
all right,
noticed them
I'm
before.
not, well, I never noticed it before. It has been for the last couple of years, I think it's become more prevalent. But that's okay. Let you
Um,
be you. And then
and
the
and then
last seven,
it's
the 6 out of 7,
Go
6 out of 7. Seventh, you feel physically tense. So those are the 7. Those are the 7. So if you got all these 7 and you're with somebody, you probably need to check yourself. One, probably not, but you probably could. Well, however, if you got 50% of those, you might want to check your partner. Look at your
Well,
person next to
I
you in
think
bed.
I think it's a great example of maybe using those things that you can say that is it your partner or is it just your life? Is it life? Is it, the
Well, your
stresses of
partner
life?
is your partner is your life.
Yeah, but the thing is that I can't say, so I have a few of those. I don't want to blame that you are the reason why I have those things. I think that when I'm zoning out, it's because I have way too much stuff on my mind and I just try to, you know, sit for a moment, I should say, and take it all in. And sometimes I'm not giving, you don't give me that chance. You're like, oh, I have a question now. I need to answer it now. And I'm like, yeah, I can't give you that answer. You throw it at me, and then yes. So because my brain does not work like your brain, and I sometimes need a moment to just decompress to think about what the questions are that you're asking me so that I can respond in a way that you can understand what I'm saying to you. It's not all over the place, but most of the times that's not the case. So I zone out. I do. It's a big thing, but I can zone out with most people. So it's not just my partner.
I'm zoning out right now.
Of course you are. Yes,
So
sir.
I didn't know. Well, look, I'm with the right person. I hope everybody
I'm
else
with the right
is.
person too.
You don't have to placate me, but I
No,
appreciate
I'm
you
true.
saying
It's
that.
true. I
Appreciate you
I
saying
always
that
told you.
publicly.
What?
I
You said
appreciate you
what?
saying that publicly.
I'm not. I'm not saying that publicly.
So I didn't know this was a thing
What?
until I read this. I really didn't pay any attention to it. I don't even know if I've probably seen it. You didn't even notice. They get wheeled on flights and miraculously walk off. Praise Jetway Jesus. It was an article. The Wall Street Journal.
Oh, I feel
Travelers
like I saw
bemoan a
that.
rise of able-bodied passengers who game the system. They game the system. You sit there, you see everybody goes pre-boarding. So they game this. Like if you want, you must really want to get on board, and you better have a seat in the back. So you're like, I mean, at least if you're going to fake being handicapped or being disabled, at least get something out of it. So you get your bag on the flight,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that's wrong,
It's
or is
so
it
wrong,
wrong?
but people do it all the
Is
time.
it? Is it?
I mean, no, because there's really people that are handicapped and need to have that assistance. And is it fair that if you're really not handicapped that you all right, so let me say something. You go into the grocery store and somebody has the damn cart, knowing damn well you can walk to get your groceries. But your dad goes into the grocery store, and how old is your dad?
He's 87, about to
He'll
be
be
88.
80, he'll be 88 on Christmas Eve. Ask that man to get a cart. No, he's not going to get a cart. He's going to think that he can walk through the whole store.
And
But
those
what if
he's
the
and
cart,
he's the one that needs a cart.
right? And so what I'm saying to you is that what if it's not available for him, right? So he goes to get that cart and the cart is gone because somebody that
It's
actually
not.
is,
If that were to
it's the
happen, that's true.
same.
That's wrong, but that doesn't happen. They have enough. They have enough cars. The
Well,
question is, it's on you, right? People are saying, "Hey, I don't want to miss an international flight. I better go ahead and get on this in the plane." Plus, there is no rule. It's kind of like, um, what do they call dogs that ride with you? A security. You could have a security. You could truly have a security dog, but when you have a pet with you, and it's for your mental health. I forgot what the name is. I forgot what the name is when you
you
have.
should know.
I said I should know, and I don't remember, but I don't know
It's
the
called,
exact term. But I see it all the time, and it's funny. Like the funniest thing I ever saw was a big 80 pound, bulldogs, a big fat 80-pound bulldog which could barely walk was their pet, was their companion pet. I was like, that dog is not doing anything. It might be make you happy because I love bulldogs and they're funny, but there is no way. I forgot what they call it. With
yeah,
those
I
pets
forget what
get
it's
on there.
called
It's the
too.
same. It's the same daggone thing. It is.
Base.
But that's how that's how
That's that
people
COVID. That's that
are.
COVID crap.
Well, it is more than that. But I it's funny though. I appreciate the people who game the system because we both know the airlines they stuff people in those planes. You stuff more people in the plane, which means you're going to have more people with baggage, which means that means more people who sit in the back that don't have the room. Now, my thing is, well, can they make planes that have bigger luggage areas so you can get more luggage on? Or is there a weight thing? Or whatever it is, they game the system with us, putting us in, seats that are not as wide. And then you go fly international on international airlines, and you're like, whoa, they got more room in economy than we do. And
Yeah.
even that one flight where they didn't even let you go in the middle seat because they didn't have a true first class. So for your business class, they had you in a row of three, but the middle seat nobody could take, which was like,
Which
okay, I
was,
mean, that's kind of cool. You lift up the armrest, you're good. You got a good 6 or 7 more inches. I'll take that all day. I don't mind this. I don't because I'm gonna get on the plane anyway. So what do I
right.
care? What do
Yes.
I care? And matter of fact, because what they don't realize is when they do that, one, they'll probably get planes are going to start checking. But anyway, it takes those people a long time to get off the plane. So I'm like, you don't even get off the plane if you try to do that because they make you wait because they want you to wait for a wheelchair. So you have to act like, oh yeah, I'm all right. So it's
Hmm.
interesting. So how long does it take to get caught? But we'll see if airlines even care. Basically, you pay; they just want you to get on, and you just want your luggage on. So who cares?
Yeah.
Just like who cares about you remember the Coldplay cam? Remember the Coldplay cam and the Kiss cam?
Yes.
Who
Yes.
cares? I'm like the lady just came out, Kristen Cabot,
Yes. She
for
wants to
her.
tell her story.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It was just you had your 15 minutes of fame. And now
Right.
it's funny because so she admits that she had the relationship. At the beginning, it was kind of like, did she have it or didn't she have it or work? And then they tell the whole story. It's
Right.
inappropriate as far as corporate wise because they have a policy. We know that. I mean, similar to University of Michigan and their coach, and the University of Ohio and their coach. Funny enough, and what happened to them.
Yeah.
But same thing, having inappropriate relationships. And all right, so what did she think was going to happen? And then her husband, her well, not her separated husband, actually was in the audience.
What?
Just not in the skybox. Yeah, her actual separated
Hold
husband, the
up.
person she was, her divorced husband, was actually in the audience.
Hold up. Okay, but they were already divorced.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
apart. I don't
okay.
know if they
Okay.
were actually
Okay.
divorced or apart, but they were apart. He was there too.
Okay.
And I'm like, but who cares? It's like, all right, you got death threats. That's not cool. People are crazy. It's like yeah, you got embarrassed. You went through enough. Now you're
Right.
family, but you weren't thinking about that when you were up there hugging all up. And there were coworkers in there. So obviously you didn't care too much being the head of HR at a company,
Yeah.
being the CHRO. So I
Yeah.
find it just, hypocritical as well as like why are we even giving this unless the magazines just want clicks. And she's got a good PR person then that she hired because she did have to hire one, a crisis manager. And it's
Hmm.
like, who cares? And she's like, well, I made the choice to give up my career. I'm like, you made the choice to give up your career when you started messing with them because eventually, just like in HR, those things will come to pass and you'll be like, all right, so you made that choice then, not now. Not It's not brave to say I made the choice and I stepped down. you probably didn't have a choice.
Right. Um, even, talking about, relationships in the workplace that shouldn't take place. The Michigan, and I just read something the other day was okay, the Michigan coach was fired from his job. The question is, and I'm not sure if I'm up to date or not, but the young lady that he was having the affair with, she still works there?
Yeah.
See, and I think that that's unfair
No,
because,
well, it depends. Well, I don't know. I don't know if she still works there, but it's tricky. And it's tricky because there was an investigation at first and they both denied it,
Mhm.
right? And when they went back because I guess there was some abuse and she felt like he was going off the rails and she wanted to end it and she was like basically, yeah, I got to speak out. So she becomes the
Mm,
whistleblower. Once you
gotcha.
become the whistleblower, you're pretty much protected,
Oh, okay.
especially nowadays even more. You're pretty
Hmm.
much protected and you can always talk about coercion. And that's the thing because if you're above somebody, if you're in an authoritative or if you're in a leadership position or a management, if you have the ability to have a impact or influence on somebody's career,
Hmm.
then you're going to have a problem. And that's why those policies are in place. Just like the University of Ohio coach got fired this past week because he was having an inappropriate relationship with a student, which is even more interesting because there is a definite policy about that, but there's also they also said they got him for alcohol, and this happens all the time. So it's just very interesting, is that he they said yeah he got reported that he had a bottle of bourbon like in his office, and then after a practice or a game that they would win, he would invite his assistant coaches in, and they would just have a drink after the game, not necessarily on duty, but there are strict policies at the university about no alcohol in at work, none of this. And he got reprimanded. He said, "Hey, I truly understand it," but supposedly he kept on doing it or did it again.
Ah,
I don't
okay.
think he would have got rid of it, but I think that they always keep these things in your file for a cause, so they don't have to
Yeah.
pay you. And that's what this was. And then the fact that they found out he had a relationship with a student, and that's interesting, right? Because I wonder what they were. I'm sure they weren't underage because, well, they could be underage in a college, but most likely they weren't with their grad student. Where
Right.
it'd just be interesting to see. And then why would he take that risk?
Well, the
But we
same
know, well,
reason why.
because I've always said what the risk is. The risk always gets us in trouble. It
Yes.
doesn't get women in trouble. But what's the risk?
I don't want to use foul language, but it starts with the letter P and it ends with a Y.
Or oh, I say you went that way. I would have said starts with the letter V as in Victor, ends with an A like Apple,
Oh,
and we
well,
both are
okay. Well,
right.
you're just a little
Both
bit
can be
more.
true. Both can be true. So this is the part. This is the time of the show where I have to bring up the greatest content generator at this moment in the world, our POTUS, because last week was a crazy week again. So did you know his name is on the Kennedy Center now? Now I think it's the Donald Trump or the Trump and Kennedy Center. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
because he just wants his name everywhere besides on the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Oh,
That's,
that was good. That was a good one.
yeah, that's
That was
exactly
a
what
hot
it
take.
is.
That was a good one.
That's exactly what it is.
And then
So,
the other thing, and this is he is what I say he is. Now he's got a hallway in the White House where he's got all these pictures of presidents and then plaques under them where he trolls them, unless it's him or the presidents that he likes. And you go through this hallway, and he talks about Barack Hussein Obama. He talks about
I
old
can't.
Joe. I mean, he's talking about them like trolling them. And then Gavin Newsom did a funny thing where he copied it and then he put in his own words on the plaque and put it under there to troll POTUS. But
Bro.
I'm like, dude, how? Okay, now is a time where you probably need to question the mental state of Donald Trump
Is it just
because
now?
no, but you're
Okay.
just giving more. evidence. But it's funny because if you're him, and some people are like, well, they went after him, and they're like, oh, well, they didn't get him. I'm like, well, part of the reason they didn't get him is because he became president again. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that was out there goes away until he leaves again.
Right.
And then so is it? But should you go after retribution? And everybody's been basically saying that's what it is. Even if chiefs of staff said that in I think it was Vanity Fair
Mm-hmm.
article. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. But if I'm him, and you get to the psyche, you're like, I've already been president once. I'm back from my second term. I am a lame duck president. And I'm probably going to be even a lamer duck president if the Democrats in 2026 can get the majority of one or the other, the House or the Senate. And then all gloves are off. This will be a very interesting time here for the next 2 or 3 years to see what happens with that, because we'll basically be a locked up government with a bunch of executive orders. But I'm a lame duck president. You already impeached me before, and I
Yeah.
still was in office. We got impeached by the House. The Senate didn't. But now, if they do get a majority, it could get interesting.
I
It can
wanted
get
to.
interesting with the impeachment of him. You say
I
that,
wanted to.
but you have to
Yes,
think about what the options are. And if you
yes,
impeach
I
him,
know.
then it becomes
JD
JD,
Vance.
and
Yeah.
that and probably Mark Rubio are, and that becomes even more, I don't want to say scary, but problematic. Although I have a funny feeling if JD gets in, a lot of things may happen, but I think he'll be more stately than our current POTUS is. I think.
With his girl Erica.
No, see, I'm not even going there. That man is
I
happily
am.
married, as he said. He's happily married,
Yeah.
and they are just laughing behind the scenes at all the things that people are saying
Yeah.
about them. It's not.
Hmm.
It's not true. It's not.
Right.
She doesn't wear a wedding ring because, according to him, she does a lot of dishes and cleaning and doesn't want to mess up her ring.
Yeah.
That's what.
Still.
That's what Usha or Usha said.
Hmm.
She said that.
I mean,
She's a
listen.
liberal, by the way. She's a
Okay.
liberal, and he's a conservative.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk about our parents. Our parents are about. Your dad will be 88 this upcoming new Christmas Eve. My mom is 83. And I really sat down and I thought today, I said, if I were to tell you that you would only see your dad 4 more times, could you see him about twice a year? And he was to, he didn't make it past 90. Now, I know your dad says he's going to live to 100, but when you put those things into perspective, does it make you say, shit, I'm counting 4 more times? 4 more times I would see my dad if he was gone at 90. Would you make more time? Would you just embrace the time that you have? What does that look like for you?
It's a good question. I don't think like that. So I would have to, I mean, this is off the top of my head. I think you do both. I think you try to see each other more. And there have been years I've seen him many more times than that. But if we're talking about right now, yeah, you would want to, and hopefully life will allow you to do that. Unfortunately, I don't live within a stone's throw away. My sister doesn't live within a stone's throw away. We talk, and my father's not a not a FaceTimer at all because he is a Android guy. And I'm not even going to try to get to go back and forth with that. But you know, I don't think like that because they raised us to be very independent. They
Mhm.
raised us to um, be able to take care of ourselves. We appreciate that. We are and have always been connected. And I've always lived, Troy's probably seen, I mean, if you, in her adult life, she's probably seen more than I have, but not that much more because I usually will stay, like, for instance, you may see him 5 times a year, but I'll see him more days because I stay
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
to me, um, and quite frankly, not that he doesn't want to see us more, but he does his own thing, and he's very independent as well, even at this age.
Hmm.
So no, I don't have any. Yeah, I would love to. I would love it if I was next door. I would have. I would love it if life works its way that way. Even today, it just hasn't,
Hmm.
and it wasn't something that they encouraged. They wanted us to fly out the nest and go, you know, make our own lives and try to be successful and
Of
try to be
course.
happy and all
As
those
a
things.
parent,
So,
of course, that's what you want for your children, of
well,
course.
I say that because not everybody's like that. Not everybody wants their kids to go, and whether they
Yeah,
go
this
two
is
miles
true.
away or 1,000 miles away. Some are like, no, you can't live there. Some are like, no, you can't live there. Some are like, oh, you're going to school eight
You
hundred
have to
miles
stay
away. I'm
close.
moving. I'm moving there.
Yeah,
So
uh-huh, absolutely.
that was never a thing. Nor did they raise us to depend on them for things, even though we freely give as much as we can. But that just wasn't the way we were raised, and I'm happy for that. Now, yes, of course, I'd like to see him more. Yes, of course, I don't think about like there's only 4 times to see because
Well,
he could
that's
have
why
he
I
could
brought up the
have he could have
question
dropped
because
he could have dropped dead 20 years ago, but didn't.
this is
Like my
true.
mom did. My mom's been
Yep.
gone for almost 20 years now. It'll be 15, 16.
Yeah, I
So,
understand that. But
and
when
I
you
didn't
think
know.
about it,
Yeah, you think
is
about
what
I didn't. Yeah, I don't.
yeah,
So I mean,
you don't.
it's
I
not
do.
it is not a it is really not a question. I mean, I don't think about life like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm living in the moment, knowing that of course I'm not always going to be here. She's not always going to. You're not always. But if you start thinking like that, it
Hmm.
paralyzes you. It
I
and as you get older, you
I
start
mean,
thinking about life and
let's be
ending of
clear.
life anyway.
No, but let's really come on. All right. So at the end of the day, they're 88 and 83, 82 years old. Their
Hmm.
time here is not good. Even if they live to 100
Who said
and
it
you saw
was?
what I'm saying to you is that these are the things that I think about, whether it's
Okay, no, I say that's
whether it's
good. I just said
paralyzing
I
me or
don't think
not,
like that.
whether it's paralyzing me or not, I think like, wow, like if something happened to my mom, and again, if something will, I mean, my mom is not healthy. She's on dialysis 3 times a week. She's
Okay,
not a
but
healthy person.
I'm not
What I'm
saying
saying,
anything's wrong with the way you're thinking.
I
I'm
didn't
saying
say that you did.
okay, so for me, let me talk about you asked me, so I am
Hmm.
telling you how I think. So if you're not thinking that way, then there's no rebuttal because what I'm
Hmm.
saying is I don't want that type of thinking to me.
Hmm.
It doesn't serve any purpose other than I know that those are definites. Those are just like I can't get back what I said 10 seconds ago. Should I worry about that too? No. And there are all things in your life you're going to think about, but it's like things that are certain are. It's like you can prepare for it, but yes. So I embrace the time that I have and the times that I can get down there and see him. I try to. Would I
Hmm.
like it to be more? Of course. So to me, that's an easy yes, yes. But it's not something that I think about because it's a fact. It's a definite. So there's no need to think about it. It's like you try to do your best and you savor the time that you have.
Hmm. Okay.
But you think about it differently, and that's good. That was, like I said, it was a good question. Um, but you think about those things more than I do.
Yeah, I do. I do, but
I know.
let's talk about Anthony Joshua and your boy.
The fight. Hey, my boy. Who? Jake Paul
I
and
forgot his
Anthony.
name. I know Anthony. Jake Paul. I didn't
Uh huh.
even stay up at I didn't stay up to watch the fight. I was very, very tired that day.
It was entertaining.
But I did watch some of it on social media or YouTube or wherever. And like I was mentioning to Jamie that, you know what, Jake Paul is not a fool. He knew I truly believe that he knew he was not going to win. Maybe in his heart he wanted to, but he also said, you know what? I'm going to make that money. And I'm not mad at him
And you know what?
at
So
all.
this is the question you have to ask yourself.
Hmm.
If if I gave you $50 million
Hmm.
right now, there's a couple things you got to do. You got to sign on for. One, I get to hit you in your head and break your jaw in two places, and you're going to be missing. You're going to have to get some teeth replaced.
Hmm.
Would you go for that? I'd sign up for that because I know I can. I'm. I'd sign up for that. $50 million. Go ahead, hit me.
Yeah,
I'll be
I
out.
think
I'll
I
be
would
done. I'll
too.
be back together in 6 months. I'll take the pain for $50 million because guess what?
I
That's what happened. That's what happened to him. He had
Yeah, you
teeth
told me.
removed. He's got two times. Well, we thought at the moment he broke his jaw. He thought he did
Hmm.
too, but he did. Broke his jaw in two places. Teeth are teeth are gone. He's
Oh,
got
he
two
got his teeth.
titanium. Well, yeah, I'm telling you. That's why I said that's what you got to sign on for because that's exactly what happened to him. Now, it was entertaining, but yet it was like, dude's running away. You should the part that he was like trying to tackle him and falling down all the time. You could tell AJ was
He was
getting
scared.
frustrated, but he was like running away from him. He wouldn't, you throw a couple, Hail Mary punches, but then Anthony was like, all right, I'll just chase you down. And he just chased him and caught him. I think it was in the fourth, knocked him down. And then he knocked him down like four times. And the last time was like, yeah, that's the one that did it. And look, he probably even made more than $50 million to be honest. But the thing is, people were like, yo, dude can get hurt in this fight. And this finally proves that, all right, man, you shouldn't be fighting professionals because professionals are trained to legally kill you.
Hmm.
And AJ was talking about that in interviews. Like, that's what I'm there to do. I have the legal endorsement, and they sanction the fight, which is a whole nother story. For a professional fight, that I'm there to. I don't want to hurt you, but I want to win. And in doing that, if I hurt you, too bad. And if I kill you, unfortunately, those things happen. And some of those shots that he missed would have done some serious damage, like the ones that he got. So he has some teeth removed and lots of pain and lots of stiffness, and it should be because, and it was the size difference didn't even make. I mean, on paper and seeing them two together was just ridiculous. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he
because
shouldn't be in a.
he's yeah, so much
He
bigger
shouldn't
than
be.
he was. Yeah, or he is.
So
Yeah.
no, I think AJ did what he had to do, and Jake Paul did what he had to do. He made it a spectacle. He made an event where at least you were entertained, and
Hmm.
we knew what was going to happen, and it did happen. So Joshua did what he was supposed to do. He made sure that all these people trying to do this YouTube exhibition stuff don't get sanctioned. If it was an
Yeah.
exhibition, I mean, and that's why Mike Tyson didn't really throw any punches either. It wasn't a
Yeah.
sanction fight; it was exhibition. So there's no way you can go from Mike Tyson to this and
Hmm.
expect any different result. I'm not glad he got hurt, but I'm glad it happened because it's like, look, leave these boxers alone. If you want an easy payday, fine. And I think AJ probably got paid more for this fight than he's ever been paid before. He's made some serious, serious tens of
Really?
millions of dollars. Yeah,
I mean, I know he's
this
made a
because
lot of
it
money,
one it
but
was
this
net
fight?
is next between Netflix and how many people watched it,
Hmm.
and what Jake Paul's able to bring to the table. And Jake got paid more than that, of course, because he was the draw. But yeah, I think AJ got paid. This is his largest paycheck, and it's probably still got money coming because when all the receipts for attendance and the ticket and the tickets for the fight and all that stuff. I mean, it's entertainment, and that's
Yeah.
what it and that's what it got sold as. So that's just to me not something that should happen again. And I think this will make sure that it doesn't happen again. So you love candles. Believe me, I know she loves candles because she likes to light candles up in the house with all the scents. But we may need to think about that
Mm, yeah.
because scented home products release as much indoor air pollution as a car. So basically, you might as well pull up your car, put that exhaust pipe in your window, and just let it spew throughout the house. And that's how much pollution you are putting in the house with candles. This is a new study
Does it
published by
say even with the
researchers at
beeswax
Purdue.
ones?
Uh, it's a new study published by researchers at Purdue University about scented products and the significant source of nano-sized particles that can pose a potential risk to your respiratory health.
All right. I guess we don't have any more candles.
I, I'm just saying, it's something that needs to be thought about. That all these they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. All
Hmm.
these candle makers, hey, it's great, buy these candles, and you're polluting yourself for the smell to be able to go out this. Now, they say while melts are scented wax melts are marketed as flameless, smoke-free, and even non-toxic alternatives to more traditional candles that burn, they aren't always safer either to make in your home or office smell better. So they have their drawbacks as too. So they can affect the air quality significantly, especially if you don't have good ventilation. So
Hmm.
just something for you to think about. I can tell you where they don't have to think about that. They don't have to think about that on the space station in space. Because there are 5 activities that are banned on the International Space Station. Do you know what those 5 are?
I have no idea.
You want to take a wild guess?
Smoking?
Well, that's a good one. You can't smoke because to smoke you would have to have flame. And because the flame has to on Earth with gravity, the flame it attaches itself to something.
Uh-huh.
But because of the anti-gravity there, that flame turns into a ball. So the flame is just a sphere of fire that just floats around, and because of
That's
the oxygen, it's
crazy.
attached to
Yeah.
some oxygen, and it could you can blow up pretty quick on a space station if you got open flames. That is definitely a ban.
I mean, I
The
definitely
other,
think that that's a no-no.
yeah,
But go ahead.
alcohol is a ban. Can't drink because, of course, you may be impaired and you're operating
I
without being
mean,
said
makes
heavy
sense.
machinery and computers. Makes sense, right? So you can't
Hmm.
toast out there. They tried to do it back in the day. They said the Russian cosmonauts tried to take some rum up there, or was it sherry? And they
Vodka.
were like, they no vodka. I thought it would have been vodka too, but no vodka. And they were like, nah, we can't. As the space station got more complex, they were like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, of course, unapproved materials or tools. You can't take anything on the space station that hasn't been tested or approved by NASA. Anything, nothing. Like if you nothing. Even if you want to take a little Chotsky to have as a memorabilia or remind you of home, you would have to pass it through NASA to get there. So
Wow.
that can't happen. That can't happen. You can't have sex.
You what?
You cannot have sex on the space station.
You know
Like
what's so funny? I was
when
just
they're
about to
there,
ask you that.
when they're there. Now the question is, how do we
Do
know?
they?
But of course, bodily fluids. I don't know if you want all those bodily fluids just free floating around. And the ventilation system is a bit different on the space station, so they're always recycling their oxygen and air. So all that
Hmm.
gets into it. That's a problem, right? And
Yeah.
because the crews are small and diverse, of course, the living is extreme. You might have some issues that they don't want in the space station. Now, you would think, oh, then don't have men and women. But then again, it could be men and men. It could be women and women. It could be heterosexual or homosexual. It doesn't matter. There is no sex on the
Okay.
space station. At least they say that. And you
Yeah.
can't, and you can't throw or toss things. Even though I think we've seen that on TV, where they will throw or toss things, but you can't throw or toss various objects for obvious reasons because they just float all over the place and they may hit things or injure. That's interesting. Those are the
Yeah.
5 things because I know you wanted to know that. Those
I
are the
did.
5 things in the space
I did.
station that you cannot do for whatever reason.
And it's
Yeah, so
crazy. I literally was like, sex, but I didn't really actually think that that was one of the things you couldn't do. I did not. That was just trying to be smart. Um,
so this lady was surprised that her husband left her at 60 to have a baby with a younger woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wrote an article about here's what it taught me. Well, what did it teach her? What would you think it would teach her? I mean, that's pretty deep, right? She said her
You know
husband
what?
announced that he wanted to have a baby, and of course, she wasn't trying to have a baby. She's 60,
This is what I taught her.
and she had just got
Deuces.
married at 52 to him. By the way, just to give some
Have
context.
fun. Has she ever been married before she was 52? Was that her first time getting
Yes,
married?
she fallen in love again at
Again.
47. Married the second time. Yes, so this was the second time she got married at 52.
He said, you know what? Have at it. Have at it, son. Young man, old man, what have at it. Have a good time. Let me know how it works out for you. That's what her thoughts are. Trust
And
me.
it turns out a lot of people have done that
Hmm.
because the divorce rate for people in the U.S. 50 or older is almost double of what it is in the 90s. I'm
Mm,
50 or over.
I'm not.
Then again, I got divorced at 50 or over, so I'm a part of this stat.
Hmm.
I'm a proud part of this stat that is double since the 90s. But I tell it's like, look, we've had this conversation before. It doesn't matter if you met somebody and get married to them after 3 weeks or 3 years or 30 years. The stats are the
It's true.
same. It doesn't matter. So
It's
you
true.
you 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 love, you live, and then hopefully you get along. And I think, to me, I would say what I think has increased that it's interesting that this article was about a man who wants to leave to have a baby and he didn't have a baby and with a younger woman. I think it's interesting because I think the thing that probably causes that the most from the 80s, 90s to now is the fact that women are more part of the workforce, more part of the professional workforce, which means they are able to provide a living for themselves that they don't have to depend on anybody. They can be more independent. There's a higher number of women that are financially independent than there were back then. I mean, heck, y'all were having problems getting mortgages in the 70s unless a male signed for them. So that's part of it. So then you have more options, or what you really do have is less tolerance to put up with bullshit.
Yeah.
And you can go, okay, peace. I'm good.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, I'll buy the house from you,
You
all
know,
that stuff, or I'm the breadwinner.
I think about how now did he ever have children? You know, I don't know the whole story, right? So I don't know if he ever had children, but finding a younger girl.
He never had children. This was his first baby.
So, you know, it goes back to the to when we met, right? I said to you, I don't want any more children, but if that's what you want, please. I respected you enough to say, listen, I know that I don't want this, but if you want it, and guess what? If you came to me today and said, Monique, I really want to have children, I would say, you know what, Jamie? I wish you all the best. And I would not be mad at you because I feel like if that's something that you are missing in your life, and even though we discussed it when we first got together, because guess what? You discuss things in the beginning of relationships, and then your thoughts and your wants and your needs change over time, right? So if you said to me, I want to have children, I, I I would respect that. I would still love you. And you know what? I would still support you. I really would. I think because that man probably desired that. That woman was 47 years old, wasn't going to have any children. Now, did he tell her, you know, that one day did she have children? I mean, there's so many different questions in that whole story that I think that it's hard to say you can't be mad at him if this is something that he truly wanted. Maybe he always desired it and never had it, and now he's with this young girl that's going to give him that. Now let me say this to you. Good luck with the relationship, and good luck being not being exhausted taking care of a child at 60 years old,
Yeah, really.
because that is a lot of work. However, she's young, she might do most of the work like most moms do. But you know what I'm saying to you is like that's one of those things like, okay, these things happen because either one, they weren't talked about amongst each other, Or this is something that later on he was like, you know what? I changed my mind. This is what I really desire. I want to be a father. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it all comes in about how you go about things, how you go about talking about it. Did he just blatantly leave her and say, I'm leaving you for a young girl and I'm going to have a baby? Or did he talk about it? Did he talk about his feelings? Did he
She
talk
said
about,
she was surprised. She said she was
oh,
surprised.
see, now that's the hurtful part, is being surprised by your partner and by the person that you marry, the person that you're in love with. There should be no surprises about what you're feeling. And that goes off of a conversation I think that people should have. I think that, getting into relationships, whether you're young or old, I think that you should set boundaries. I think you should set expectations for yourself, your needs and your wants. And as you grow as a couple, I think hard conversations should be had in order to grow. You can't grow without having hard conversations.
Well, I think the interesting thing too on this is how young was the woman, right?
Okay.
Because I think that if you're having a kid at 60, you're selfish as heck
I
because
agree with you.
you're not, you may make a, you could get to 40. I mean, you hope you would want to get to the point where you were, make it through your 30th kid's birthday.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully you can still provide when you're going, and depending on how young your partner is. But it's
Yeah.
such a it would be such a selfish decision. If I made that decision right now, it'd be such a selfish, especially if you're married. It's even more of a selfish decision because I'm affecting you too, and I know you're not going to have a baby because you're my age and you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Based on, I'm assuming, that age as a woman. So that means you're going at least 15 years younger, which, may sound good to a man, but depending on what it is, you still got to deal with a whole bunch of stuff. And like the other person, what are they thinking about?
Yeah.
So, and I don't even know if it was a love thing. He just wants to go have a baby with somebody. She's acting like it wasn't a love thing. Like his love, his want and desire to have a baby overbeared his love for her. I'm not going to assume, but that would be interesting because I
Well,
doubt. I just me, I would doubt that if you really thought you were with your person, that having a kid, there's a lot of things you can do, but you can never ever substitute someone for a biological, the choice if you ever had, I want a biological child or I want a child that's adopted or whatever. If I had a choice, if you don't
yeah.
have a choice, that's different.
Yeah.
Understood, totally different. But wow, that was, if I was her, she's taking it pretty well writing the article. But I'm like, I would be thinking, was I really his person?
Right.
Was I truly his person on that one?
Yeah. I can't, I read something, and it was about, you know, it also reminded me of a conversation that we had with Taya when she was here, and it's about showing up for your partner. And it was a man that they had two little girls, and the man would go out once a week and clean out the car for the wife. And when I tell you, this car was a disaster, and anybody knows that they have children and little kids and you're giving them Cheerios to make them be quiet in the back, and sometimes the milk is spilled on dripping from the bottle. There's all these different things that come into play on taking care of children. The diaper bag, maybe the Chick-fil-A bag. It's just that car can get a mess when you're raising children, especially when you have more than one. I know that people that are very anal and clean may try their best, but there's still going to be something. But this man would go and clean the wife's car once a week, and she would get in the car and she would just be like, God, it's just like, it's almost like having a dirty house, right? If you have a dirty house and your house is a mess, you don't make your bed, everything just seems a disarray. So she would get in the car and just feel so much more at ease. And I'm like, that's him showing up for her. look, I know that you're taking care of the kids while I'm at work, but I want you to get into this car and I want you to feel like you can have a peace of mind, not looking at the mess. And the mess causes stress. It causes anxiety because you know that these things have to get done. So I think that it's, reading this, it was like, this is the way that he showed up for her. And the thing is, I think that couples need to talk about what does showing up for each other look like? I think if those things are not communicated or talked about, you just expect the maybe unexpected. And you think that, you might say, well, I expect him to do those things because I'm taking care of the kids all day. I'm running them around. I'm doing these things. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm working. That's another thing is I think that couples need to understand is that if I'm going to work just like you are, and I'm taking care of the kids and the house and do you think I'm exhausted? Do you think I'm
Mm-hmm.
exhausted? I mean, it's not like I'm sitting you're sitting at home. Some moms sit at home and and I'm going to say this. I think the hardest job is being a mom. That's why, guess what? That's one thing that men don't give up. That's one thing that men don't give up
What?
is to be a full-time parent. And I'm not saying to you that there's not men out there that do it, but being a mom is the hardest job ever. You wear so many hats.
I
You are,
agree.
listen, and I'm going to tell you, most men never argue about having that job because guess what? They're not built to do it. They're not. They're not built to do it. Now you have some men, they're like, look, I want to have custody of my kids. I want to take care of my kids. I want this, I want that. And it sounds good. But I'm going to tell you, when you are a wife and you're taking care of your family and your home and everything, and that partner does not give you 50% of that, it's exhausting. And that's why most women leave. If I'm going to do this shit by myself, I'll be by myself. So I think it's very important. If I'm going to struggle, I can struggle by myself.
That's true.
So, you know what I mean? If you're not going to bring anything to the table for me, please have at it. Because guess what? I'm taking care of you like I'm taking care of one of the kids. Go ahead, do your thing. All due respect, I love you, but you got to go because you are putting too much pressure on me and too much. And I'd rather have all the pressure to myself and be by myself. And I think that that's where a lot of women fall into that category. After a while, they're just like, yeah, I don't need a man. And guess what? It's unfortunate because I think that if they talk about what their needs and their wants are and let their partner know, listen, before we start having this family, before we get together, what does me showing up look like to you? What is it? I
Right.
think that it will help people's relationship. I do.
But you also have to be very communicative around what you want, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And Stylist, the magazine Stylist, did a article and they said 21 women reveal
Hmm.
the one thing they're holding back from saying to their partners.
Mm,
You want to know what those are?
sure.
21 women, not 21 things, but 21 women they interviewed,
Hmm.
ranging from, 30s to 60s to being married for 25 years to being in relationships, not being married, having kids, and all that stuff. So one woman says, I want separate single beds. That's the one thing she's not telling her partner. I love you, but I want our beds to be next to one another, but your nighttime fidgeting is driving me crazy.
Okay.
The other one is, I want to leave you. Well, damn, you probably need to tell them that.
Wow. Oh, okay.
She was engaged. This lady was engaged together for more than a decade and recently engaged. And she's like, I have no intention of marrying this man, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah, she's not
If that's
doing
the case.
herself yeah, she's not
Your
doing herself
your
any justice.
your mom is annoying. Okay, I'm sure there's plenty. I can understand not wanting to tell, but after a while, you're going to probably tell them by your face and your actions anyway. Your job
Yeah.
isn't that important as you think it is. I can get that. It's not. Shouldn't be. But you don't want to tell him that. This is what women don't want to tell their partners and their mates. You're not making enough space for me. She said, I feel like the mistress instead of the girlfriend. Making enough space to integrate their lives. They've been in a relationship for 9 months. That's interesting. Interesting.
Okay. I
She's
mean, it's
41, but I'm like, that sounds like somebody 25 would say. But okay,
yeah,
it's just my opinion. I've been on Mounjaro, GLP-1 for 2 years. Afraid to tell
it happens all the time.
them.
You
But
know,
that
I
doesn't
know
make
all
that
about it.
that doesn't make any sense to me. Or I think it's time for you to shave your head. Says Anya, who's been married for a year. You can't tell your husband you've been married for a year that he needs to shave his head. Then y'all got bigger problems than that.
Yeah, I agree.
If he
Because that's
doesn't
a hard
already know.
conversation, honey.
Is it? That's
It's
not
time.
really. It's really
It's
not.
hard because you know what? Nobody wants to hurt somebody's feelings.
Well, then,
That's a hard
remember, it's always what
conversation.
I say. It's always what I say. It's not what you say.
It's how you
It's
say
how
it.
you say it, and that's the easy how you say it one. And
So how would you
you just
say it?
gave it. You just gave an example.
What?
You just did it. That's
What was
how
my
easy it would
example?
be. You just said, huh, it's how you say it. So it's with some sympathy around
Hmm.
it, and with some care. Like, hey, I think you look great with a bald head. Let's try it, or something like that. So it's
Yeah.
encouraging, right? What was the other one? I find a lot of things you do deeply unattractive. Again, if you can't tell somebody after a year and a half this person's been in a relationship, she's 41. That relationship's
She
probably not gonna
what did
last.
she say?
She says I find a lot of things you do deeply unattractive.
Damn, that's
Deeply, deeply.
deeply. That's
Yeah.
that's rough.
All right. Now, this woman, 29 years old, in a relationship for 9 months. I want to marry you. She can't. Well, yeah, no woman wants to ask a man if she wants that they want to marry you. I get that, but still, I don't get it. It's like that's just tradition. If you really want to be with somebody, but I think she thinks it's too early in a relationship for such a bold statement. Well, so you're not asking to marry the person. You're just saying I want to be married to you. So you're probably scared you're going to scare the person away.
Yeah.
But see,
I
that's that
just
time thing again. She's talking like next 12 to 18 months. It's like, well, what difference does it make? That's if you feel that way, say it. And if they're scared, they'll move on. They weren't the person for you. They may be thinking the same thing, but they don't know what you're going to say.
yeah, that's true.
The other person doesn't want to tell this person they have over $75,000 in their private savings. They want to keep that separate. The problem is they're married. Now that's messed up. This person's
Hold up.
married. They've been married for 25 years. They got 2 children. And
And
she's been stashing away dough. And she's not telling her husband, not her partner, not her
see,
boyfriend,
you
not her
know what though? The
girlfriend, her
problem is that
husband.
when he finds that out,
Oh, it's done.
it's over. And is it worth to
She
ruin
go. She
your
said, "This is funny. This is funny because you were just talking about that. My husband is not helping around the house at all. Loads of jobs are not being done, and I can't do all it on my own. He doesn't want to do housework unless I ask him. He doesn't cook. He doesn't garden. He doesn't clean bathrooms. No dusting. He's never cleaned the window. I don't think he has ever cleaned the sink. He doesn't know how to clean the air fryer. I've said he needs to do more, but then he asks what needs to be done, and needs to be shown what to do, or he says he doesn't think it really needs doing, but it does. So this sounds like somebody who's anal retentive, one, but that's okay. But if you feel that way, what's that got to do with not sharing?
hold on, this is the partner that has the money in the bank?
Yes,
Okay,
but
that to
the
me,
person wants to feel like they can be independent. But I'm like, yeah, but if you made now it'd be different if you made that agreement. Like, hey, we get married and we share money, but then I have my own account, you have yours. All right, cool. I'm not
hmm
asking how much money you got in your account. I don't care if we have that arrangement ahead of time. But it
hmm
doesn't sound like they had that arrangement ahead of time. So somebody says, I love you, but I don't lust for you. Well, then you shouldn't. Do you really love them then? You love them like a
right.
friend. You love them. And they've been married
It,
for 20 years, parents of 2 children.
wow. They fell out of love.
Oh, no, she's saying they're soulmates rather than lovers, but I can't say that right now. Well, then you're not soulmates
Right.
to me.
No.
Somebody says, I can't tell my partner, I think you might be bad at your job. And they've been in a relationship for 4 years.
He
She
might be
says, I
bad
don't
at
think
his
they're
job.
very good. He said,
I think that's so you can say that.
they often call in sick, arrive at the office late.
No.
Uh, yeah, you could say that. But for what? If they're at work, if they're not complaining about it, why do you care if you think that they're bad at work as long as they're working and bringing home money? I
Yeah,
mean,
this
that's
is
kind of
true.
like That defeats the purpose.
This
Clothes,
is
your
true.
clothes hoarding has to stop. Got to stop hoarding clothes. Somebody says
Mm.
they can't tell somebody that now. These are some things like, well, what is your relationship really like? I
Right,
hate
because
the
that's
sound of
some
you.
these are
These are easy ones. I hate the sound of you chewing gum. They've been together for 7 years.
of course she hates this. She hates to hear him breathe.
The sex, the sex could be so much better. This person's engaged in cohabitating. Well, you probably need to have that discussion
Yeah.
before you moved in with them. I think you're really immature. And she's just in a relationship. They didn't say how long. I'm like, well, if you think they're very immature, then why are you still in a
Yeah.
relationship with them?
Right.
Here's the other one this is a deal breaker. It wouldn't even get this far. You need to take better care of your teeth in a relationship for 6 years.
You know.
And last but not least, this is stupid. I'm in love with somebody else. They don't want to tell
Oh,
me.
they're scared.
They're scared. They're
Well, you know what?
56
See,
and they've
now I
been
have a
married for
problem with
20
that.
years. They're
See, I have a
56
problem
and
with
they've been
that.
married for 20 years.
You know what I have a problem with
And
about
she
that
and
is
she said,
because
and the question was, why aren't you saying it? And the person said back, because it would end our marriage. Yes,
you're
it
in
would.
love with somebody else. Okay,
Hmm.
how did you fall in love with somebody else? How much time are you spending with this somebody else? Who
I
is this
mean,
somebody else? That's like you coming to me and telling me that you're in love with somebody that
somebody
works
else,
around.
somebody else, somebody
Okay,
else.
but I can see I can so if you said to me I fell in love with one of the girls at work, right?
Oh,
How did you fall in love with them? I don't know. You spend time at the office. These things happen, right? Uh I think it's you owe that to me and you owe that to our marriage to communicate that to me. That's it. Is it going to be heartbreaking to me that you fell in love with somebody else and you're not in love with me anymore? Of course it will. But I think you owe me that respect to say, you know what? I'm not in love with you anymore. I'm now in love with somebody else. Don't drag me through the dirt why you don't love me anymore.
this is true. This is true.
It's not fair.
And that's a perfect way to end our podcast today. We always end with parting words. Do you have any?
You know, I did, and now I forget them. But my parting words are going to be take every opportunity and chance to love the people that you love. Try to spend as much time as you can because you never know when it's the end. That's it. I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I said, because I was muted because I coughed. Excuse me. I said it's kind of similar, but the thing, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Okay.
So you can't have a new beginning unless something ended. So don't worry
Mhm.
about how it ends. Just worry about what's out there for you to start. Those are my
Okay.
parting words.
All right.
All right. So that brings us to
Yes.
the end of season 1, episode 20. Next week is our 21st episode. And according to data, according to podcast research, most podcasts don't even get this far. And successful podcasts are podcasts that get above that 21 episode. So that's why we chose 21 as how many episodes we're going to do per season. We'll come back sometime. Well, we'll come back next week, and then we'll decide when we're going to come back uh, based on what we think we might need to change or do on the show. But we're excited about getting this far. And those of us who do listen to us and those of us who do see us on TikTok or Instagram, appreciate that too. But it's been a fun ride, these 20 shows. I'm Jamie Jones.
I'm Monique Jones.
That's Cockrider, Season 1, Episode 20. See you next week.
Bye.